Hello, welcome to the second video on tree diagrams. So this tree diagram video is when we don't replace the items that we take out. So for this example, we have a bag containing 5 blue marbles and 3 white marbles, and I've drawn a little sketch of it over here. So you're going to select 2 marbles without replacing any. So the first step is we want to draw our tree diagram and all of our possible outcomes in our probability. So if I turn on my little drawer, then we've got your first draw. You can choose a blue marble or a white marble. Your second draw, you choose a blue marble or a white marble. Wow, this is badly drawn today. Okay, so now we have our tree diagram drawn out for us, so we want to add the probabilities. So if I look back to my original diagram, I want to know how many do I have in total. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there is a total of 8 marbles. So this total is going to go down each time I take out a marble. So on my second draw, I only have a total of 7. So I'm going to write that down for us. Second draw, our total is going to be equal to 7. So the probability of getting a blue is going to be 5 on 8, and then our probability of white is going to be 3 on 8. Okay, so now I can start to add these things. So my probability of getting a blue marble is going to be 5 on 8, and then my probability of getting a white marble is going to be 3 on 8. So in my second draw, my total is now 7, so all my probabilities are going to be over 7. So my probability of getting a blue marble, I've already taken out 1 blue marble, so there's only 4 blue marbles left. And there's only 7 blue marbles in total in the bag. For my second draw, if I picked a blue in the first one, I haven't decreased the amount of white marbles, so I've still got 3, but it's now over 7 because there's still only 7 in the bag. So if I picked a white marble on the first draw, then and I wanted to pick a blue on the second, then I got 5 on 7 because we haven't affected how many blues are still in the bag. But we have changed how many whites are in the bag. So if I picked out 2 whites, then my second white marble to be drawn out has only got a probability of being 2 over 7. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my outcomes and my probabilities. So my outcomes for each option, I get an option of getting a blue, blue, a blue, white. So I should be writing these properly. A white, then a blue, or a white, then a white. Okay, so now I've got my outcomes written out. I'm going to do the probability for each outcome. So the probability of getting a blue, then a blue. So if I draw in a little line to help it make it a bit clearer, is my first one for probability of getting the initial blue is going to be 5 on 8. And then we're going to times this by the second blue, which is 4 on 7. So 5 times 4 is 20, and 8 times 7 is 56. So my next probability is going to be, I've got my 5 over 8 still, and then for white I had 3 on 7. Okay, so 5 times 3, 15, 8 times 7, another 56. So the probability for my next one, I've got 3 on 8, so the probability of getting a white is 3 over 8, times the probability of getting a blue on the second draw is 5 on 7. 8 times 7, 56. 3 times 5, 15. So my lucky last one, I've got the probability, and I'll change the change of colors again to try and help you guys track what I'm doing. So when I have my white in the first option, I had 3 over 8. And then in my second option, I got another white, and I got 2 over 7. So For this one, I've got 3 times 2 is 6, and then 8 times 7 is 56. So I can go back to these probabilities and I can simplify them a bit. So for my first one, I can do divided by 2, which give me 10, divided by 2 is 25, and then 28. And then for these middle two ones, I can't do any divisions, because my next logical one would be divide by 3, but 56 won't divide by 3, and I can't do divide by 5 either. So then I've got my lucky last one, which is 6 over 56, and I can divide that by 2 as well to get 3 on 28. So now that I've got my probabilities and all of my outcomes written out, then I can go to part B, which asks us to find the probability of selecting, and then it's got a couple of different types of questions. So the first one is the probability of getting a blue than a white. So the probability of getting a blue than a white we found before is 15 on 56. So the next one wants us to find the probability of getting 2 blue marbles. So a blue, blue. So the probability of that was 10 on 28. So the lucky last probability we need to find is exactly 1 blue marble. So I just want 1 blue. So we don't count the blue blue one, we just want a blue white or a white blue. So that means I can use these two probabilities, 15 on 56 and 15 on 56. So because there's 2 of them, we add these together. So we've got 15 on 56 plus 15 on 56 is going to give us 30 on 56. Now that we've got 30 on 56, we can make this smaller. So I can divide this one by 2 to give me 15 on 28. So that's been divided by 2, top and bottom. Okay, so the next part of this question asks, if the experiment was repeated with a replacement, so when we take a marble out, we put it back in after we find out what color marble we got, find the answers to each question in part B. So I'm going to redraw this diagram. So hopefully we all remember that our probability of finding a blue from that bag was 5 on 8, and our probability of getting a white was 3 on 8. So in this tree diagram, where we can replace them, so after I take a marble out, I'm going to put it straight back in, I'm going to have a different outcome for only my second draw. The first draw is going to be the same. So in my second draw, I'm going to pick a blue, I put the blue back in, and then I still have a 5 on 8 chance of getting a second blue. Same goes with the white. So I pick my blue, I put the blue back in, and then I draw out a white. So because I put the blue back in, I still have a 8 of a chance. So the total is 8 marbles in that bag for what I could pick out. So the second option is in the first draw, I pick out a white marble. So I pick a 3 on 8 chance. I put my white marble back in, and then I grab a blue marble for a 5 on 8 chance. And then my last option is that I pick a white after I've already picked a white. But this will still have a 3 on 8 chance because I put that first white back into the bag. So now I'm going to find out all my different outcomes. So the possible combinations, they're going to be exactly the same. It's just going to be the probability of those combinations, so the chance of you getting that combination. So I still have blue-blue as my first combination, then blue-white as my second one, white-blue as my third, and then white-white as my final combination. So it's just going to be the probability of getting these combinations. Sorry, that was meant to be erased. Here we go. So the probability of getting a blue is 5 on 8, and then getting it a second time is still 5 on 8. 5 times 5 is 25, and then 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so my next probability, I have a blue, so a 5 on 8 chance, and then a white, so a 3 on 8 chance. And then I have 5 times 3, which is 15, times 8 times 8 is 64. 15 on 64. I can't make any smaller, so I'm going to leave it as is. So the probability of getting a white than a blue is going to be exactly the same because we're just multiplying the same fractions in a different order this time. So it's still going to be 15 on 64. And then my lucky last one is I've got the probability of getting a white. So a 3 on 8 chance times a 3 on 8th chance. 3 times 3 is 9. Times our 8 together, we get 64. Okay, so now you can compare your answers. So you can look at them and go, okay, if I did replace my marbles, then my probability gives me a different result than when I didn't replace my marbles. So hopefully that makes sense, and we've learned a bit about probability for a multi-step experiment without replacement. Okay.